Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we talk all things hunting and introduce you to the most innovative hunting gear and services. Here are your hosts, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow.
Howdy, folks. Corn Bandit coming back at you with another Feed Bandit podcast, and this is the second Feed Bandit podcast, and I am running solo. My partner, El Bandito, Mr. Jimmy Byrne, is taking care of the baby again, so he promises he'll be back on the next episode. So you'll have to bear with me. I am running the ship all by myself, and what a crazy day it has been today. The coronavirus really started getting crazy. All the major sports canceled. It absolutely, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, which of course is from Ghostbusters for those fans out there. So it is an absolute crazy wild day, but we're gonna have some fun tonight. It's been it's probably been a month actually since we interviewed any of gear manufacturers, feed providers here on the Feed Bandit podcast. So we felt like tonight was a really good chance to bring one of those individuals on. So tonight we are very honored to have Mr. Terry Koehler. He is the owner and founder of Dove Gear, and they manufacture the Dove Gear Ultimate Bird Vest. Terry, welcome to the Feed Bandit podcast, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me. I always like talking about what we're creating here to help dove hunters enjoy their time in the field a little better.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to talking about it. Terry, tell me, this is typically how we kind of start these things up. How did you come up with this idea? Tell us the story.
Well, dove hunting is something I got into. My dad was an avid hunter. I grew up in Cuero. Some of your listeners probably know where Cuero, Texas is.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a long-time South Texas kid, and dove hunting and saltwater fishing and deer hunting was what we grew up doing in between golf. And so I had a phenomenal childhood there in Mayberry, what I like to call Cuero back then in the 50s and 60s. And I've always maintained my passion for dove hunting, and I gave up on deer hunting some time back, but I've never given up on dove hunting. I love the activity. I love the camaraderie, the time in the field, the challenge of wing shooting,
right,
and having a great lab next to you and watching how much fun those Labrador retrievers have in the field.
Oh yeah.
So I've been through just I don't know, a dozen probably different hunting vests over my lifetime. I'm 68 years old yesterday on March 11th.
Oh, happy birthday.
So, thank you. So, I kind of semi-retired from the life of the golf equipment industry. I've been designing golf clubs and sourcing golf products my whole life. And I said, I'm going to create the perfect dove hunting vest. And I set out my list of things that I wanted this vest to do, and looked at features of vests that I had worn that I liked some features, and there were features I'd never seen on the vest that I just thought ought to be there, and just started putting this thing together in 2017, and went through some rounds of prototypes and found a manufacturer to make them for me, and went through about 3 rounds of prototypes, and we introduced the Ultimate Bird Vest to the market in August. We were kind of late for the multi dove hunter to go buy their stuff in late June and July. But
sure.
We had a great reception, and the people that bought the vest absolutely rave about it, and it's just loaded with features. I think anybody that likes to shoot doves and other upland birds for that matter, but particularly it's a dove-focused product. So I think anybody that shoots doves is going to go, wow, this guy's thought of everything. So.
Well, I got to tell you, you and I are cut from the same cloth. I am an absolute... I'm a fanatic dove hunter. I mean, I literally just cannot get enough of it. So it was funny when I stumbled upon your website. I was filled with joy because I'm like, man, I got to meet this guy because I think we're close to the same. So that is exciting. Yeah, looking at over my years of dove hunting and whatnot, I've either had the tool belt, which is kind of currently what I use. Or you've got, you've got kind of the upland bird, kind of sleeveless vest type thing. But, one of the problems that, you get with the shell belt is that, if you do enough walking and so you don't have a bird or a bird dog, that the shell belt kind of wears on your back a little bit. I'm not afraid to admit that. The other thing is that with that sleeveless bird vest, where you put the birds kind of in the back, I've always felt that thing is just incredibly hot, A, and then B, they don't have room for all your shells, unless the manufacturer's intention was to, let you put a limit of, 12, 15 shells in there. I just think that was too small. So I was looking at your concept, and it looks a heck of a lot different. It looks a lot more practical. So tell us about the design and kind of what you were thinking about when you made it.
Well, I was driven by kind of those same two sentiments you're talking about. The traditional vest, I think, really comes from the New England grouse shooter and woodcock shooter. And,
right.
30, 12, or 15 shells. A nice day of grouse or woodcock shooting is 2 or 3, 4 birds, and they're hunting cooler temperatures, like you say. We're starting to dove hunt in September.
Yeah.
It's freaking hot out here.
Yep, absolutely.
One of the first things I said, I want a vest that's very skeletal. So the ultimate bird vest it's got a 2-inch wide shoulder straps. They come all the way down. It's just very skeletal. The whole back of it is mesh, so it breathes with you.
God, that's wonderful.
Kind of going back to the tool belt concept, unlike you, if you're walking out into the field and the shell bags are flapping this way and the bird bag's flapping that way,
yep.
When you sit down on the stool, you have to it's kind of like wearing a tuxedo with the sitting on the field. You got to put the bag out of the way.
And that is so true. So true.
When you stuff 15 doves in the back of one of those,
yep.
That bag is pretty darn full, and it's heavy.
It is.
15 doves, you got 7-8 pounds of doves, you got shells,
and
there's no place to carry a water bottle.
Nope.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to say, what are all the features that I know we need for 2 or 3 hours, or an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours out in the dove field,
right,
where you may be 300 or 400, 500 yards from your car. So you have a walk out there. You need this stuff. You're leaving your car with no doves, but
right,
a lot of shells,
right,
and hopefully some water. I'm a Labrador guy. It kills me to see people out there in the field with their dog, and they have no water for their dog.
Yep, same
they
thing.
Have a little cooler with a couple of beers or water for themselves, and their dog's doing all the damn work.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And so I have you can put 1 or 2 water bottle holders, holds a 32-ounce bottle of water on either side, and the water bottle holder is right under your armpit, so it's spreading the load of those 2 bottles of water on your shoulders where you hardly know they're there. And then your shell pockets are forward of that, your bird pocket is back of that.
Wow.
Another thing that grates on me is to see empties out in the field. You go out to a nice outfitter.
Yep.
He's done a good job of managing a field, and you go out to your hay bale, and there's empties laying all around. And guys, we need to pick up our stuff. These outfitters don't have to do this for us.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not getting rich on this.
Exactly.
The ones that I've hunted with, and I've hunted with some really good ones, they do this. Yeah, they make some money doing it. They do it because they just enjoy the sport.
Sure.
And several outfitters I shoot with, they let kids shoot free, and then shoot for half price. We need to nurture that. But you've got to leave the field cleaner than you found it.
Of course.
So there's a pocket in the back of behind the game pocket and I'm an over and under guy. Some guys shoot semis and pumps.
Yep.
It's a little harder to pick up your empties. But between the birds, it's not hard to just look around and fish a few empties and put them in the back. I used to be a reloader, so I didn't want my holes in with my birds.
Right.
Feathers and blood all over.
Sure.
So there's a separate little pouch back there for your empties.
Sure.
Now we all got cell phones. We got things we want to carry in the field. So you have 2 shell pockets in the front. They'll each hold a couple of boxes of 12-gauge shells if you want to put that much in there. I'm also a small gauge guy. I'm a 28 guy.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
But behind each shell pocket is a spring-loaded security pocket. You can put your phone in there. You can put a little first aid in there. You can put a
genius
sticker bar or something in there. but it's spring-loaded, so whatever you put in there, you're not going to lose in the field.
Right.
I remember years ago, one of my buddies lost his cell phone. We traipsed all over this field trying to find his cell phone. And I said, if you're going to carry it in the field, which I typically do or don't do depending on the situation, but you want to have it secure, right?
Yeah.
It's got 6-way adjustability. One of the things about vests is they're adjustable with the front buckle.
Right.
And I'm a small framed guy. I'm 5'7" and 160 pounds. But you take a guy that's big of girth and he adjusts the front buckle, and now his shell backs are so far back, under his armpits,
yeah.
He gets to his shells convenient.
Sure.
So I put adjustment straps in the sides between the game pocket and the shell pocket.
That's great.
I've got the front buckle that gives you adjustable, so you can get those shell pockets wherever you like them. You like them more in front, you like them more on the side. And then the 2 shoulder straps are adjustable,
right,
so that you can make this vest fit a 6'6" guy or a 4'6".
Right.
The first year we were out, we had one of my friend's grandson, who's 9, was wearing the vest, and it had the shell pockets exactly where they ought to be. And another guy hunting with us is 265, and he had his adjusted for his shell pockets were exactly where he wanted them. So, and then I wanted the whole thing, you look at, I don't want to pick on anybody, but, some of the major hunting and fishing stores,
right,
they sell really low-end stuff for dove hunting. And you use it a season or two and it starts falling apart.
Yep.
I built this thing out of 1,000 denier Cordura nylon. It's got 2-inch wide nylon straps. I mean, this thing is built to be a once-in-a-lifetime purchase. It's built to last you till you don't want to shoot doves anymore.
Sure.
You and I can't imagine when that would ever be, right?
I'm telling you what, Corona or no Corona, if it's September, October, I'm shooting dove. I mean, it is the way it is.
You should come down and shoot with us sometime. And have a great time.
My friend, I'll be there in a heartbeat. I would love nothing more.
Hey, hold on one quick moment. Hey folks, have you ever wished that there was an easier way to find the hunting feeds, supplies, and services you need, when and where you need them? If so, check out our hunter search at feedbandit.com, where you can see what hunting suppliers are in your area or are on the way to your land. Don't waste any more precious time searching Google or calling around for feed, blinds, feeders, or even outfitters. Just use our targeted search for hunters, the Feed Bandit Hunter Search, over at feedbandit.com. We'll find your feed.
Want to go back to one of the things that you mentioned, is the cell phone holder, and you talk about your buddy who lost his phone. And my friends that will be listening to this episode will remember this, but it wasn't but 4 or 5 years ago where I had, I think it was the iPhone 5, and it was an older phone, and it had the mossy oak camo on one side and the blaze orange on the face side. Well, the exact same thing, and it's funny. I was walking through a field that had it was on our family's place. That had just been. It was in October, and we had just started to plow it under for winter wheat. And so here I am walking out there in the middle of this field. I got my miserable shell belt on. I can barely tighten the thing anymore. It's pulling my pants down. And I got my gun, my water. I left my dog because it was a little hot. But I've got my cell phone, and I start to see birds, flying and whatnot, and they get in my spot. And that's when I realized I don't have my phone anymore. And the exact same thing. I spent hours sitting there looking for this phone, and it's just I have to have it on me. I've got a wife, kids, and I'm in sales, so I have to be available. So I've always wanted to have a vest that had a dedicated cell phone holder. I mean, it's just the way it is. You got to have it. So I think that's a huge feature.
Well, in these 2 pockets, I carry because I carry a short lead for my dog if I need to have that. I carry a little snacks for my dog. I carry my glasses that I read with because my shooting glasses are not bifocal, so I can see birds and everything fine, but I can't read my phone with my shooting glasses.
It happens. It happens.
I have the ability to tuck a few things away, and they're not going to get lost. And again, I have friends that shoot big bore guns. They shoot 12s and 20s, and you can put as many shells as you need to pack with you in there. The game bag is roomy. 15 big white wings will go in there.
Oh, wow.
You're not going to have them falling out. And if you like to shoot on a stool, then you might want to adjust that vest to ride a little higher, where the shell pockets and the game is up about belt height, so that when you sit down, it's not in the way.
Right.
If you're not shooting on stool, it's all personal preference. But the six-way adjustability allows anybody to get this thing to fit and put the shell pockets where you like them and put your water bottles where you like them. And so I just tried to think of everything I could possibly want that vest to do. And it's got a strap that goes across your chest,
right,
to keep the shoulder straps from sliding
off.
Oh, yeah. Another problem with some of the strap vests. And then that shoulder strap is a nice place to, if you have a belt clip, for your dog's collar,
yep.
if you use a collar on
Absolutely.
your dog, it's always training, it seems like. And it's right there handy, and for me, I'm a right-handed shooter, that transmitter is right there on my left chest, and easy to get to the buttons with my thumb. And I tried to think everything through. And again, I wanted the thing to last. It's a really high grade product.
Oh, that is fantastic. Now, going back to something that you just mentioned about the adjustability of the product. So, a lot of my friends, and we're just turning 40. I turned 40 in a couple of days. So, but some of my friends have already got bad backs, from football and all that kind of stuff, and they can't sit on stools. They can't sit on buckets. They gotta sit on the chairs with the backs. So you're saying, with your product, you can adjust to where the birds are, so that when you go to sit down, you won't smash them. Is that what you?
Right. I mean,
wow.
So most of your chairs, they have like a strap across the back, like a 8 or 10 inch width.
Right.
And so you can adjust it to where those birds are kind of underneath that strap and above the seated part, where they don't hang up getting in and out of it. And
that's
the other
incredible.
big thing about it is these 2-inch wide shoulder straps. With 2 32-ounce bottles of water, that's 7 pounds of water.
Right.
Give or take, or 5 or 6 pounds of water. And your shells, and you just don't feel the weight on you.
Yeah.
With these things, it's all right there balanced on your shoulder straps.
Right.
2 big wide shoulder straps.
Well, I'm telling you, that in itself is such a value-added feature, because you're right. I mean, and you had a long day at the office, or whatever it is. You go out there, shoot some birds. If you don't have a dog, so for my dog is 12 years old. She's the best bird dog, the only bird dog I've ever had in my life, and I love her to death. But when it's early season, I don't bring her. So, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6 foot 300 pounds. So, but I'm
So this vest, you can adjust it.
To
where this vest can adjust you. And a smaller guy, once you get it adjusted to your size, you can cut those side straps off and just lay the ends of them. It's a 2-inch wide nylon strap.
Right.
And where you don't have a tag in
right.
hanging out. With you won't have as much of that. But I just thought the adjustability was key.
Well, I think it is.
3 people the same size might have a different comfort. They might. One guy might like his shell back pockets a little more forward than the other.
Right.
Another guy might like the vest to ride a little higher.
Sure.
So you can tweak around on this thing and get it exactly where you want it.
Right. Well, what I was saying is that you sit there, you take a couple of shots. If you're running out, I don't know about you, but if I'm running out of daylight and I'm at bird number 12 or 13, I'm running to go get. If my dog's not with me, I'm running to go get my birds. And so that I can get back to my stool to see if I can try to hit that magic number of 15. And I'll tell you, after a while, that belt starts to slip on me. It starts to kind of hurt. I got a little sciatica. So, having those shoulder straps and the fact that they connect, that you can connect them so that they don't fall on you, I think is tremendous.
Well, the other thing, that idea with this thing, and just little things that irritate me about vests, and they have, you want a flap for your shell pocket so that you can put the flap, close it, keep your shells in there. But when you're in the heat of action, you don't want that, and you don't want that flap getting in the way, and you reach down and the flap is flipped out and it's closed.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what it is, the flap has a Velcro patch that it attaches to close it over the shells, but there's another Velcro patch inside the shell pocket, so that when you're in the heat of action, you can put that flap inside and it's going to stay inside. It's not going to be in the way of always reaching down and the flap is closed up your shell pocket again.
God,
the other thing we did is we made the shell pockets a little wider at the bottom and narrower at the top, so that your shells don't have a tendency to fall out if you bend over to pick up the bird.
Man, I'm telling you.
Even, laying your gun down and rolling under a barbed wire fence or something.
Yep.
Or crawling through, you're not pouring shells all over the ground.
It is so funny that you mention the flap, because I tell you what, if you listen to any of the podcasts and when we talk about dove hunting, I am obsessed, and I will do literally anything in my ability to increase my chances of bagging a bird. And that is one of my biggest complaints, is that I've got this big flap on my belt. And it almost is at the point where, I'm just going to cut that thing off. But then I'm like, no, because like you say, if I'm going underneath a fence or something of that nature, my shells go everywhere. Yeah. Now, I think you legitimately have thought of everything. It's great.
Well, I think we have, when you talk about the heat and the dog, and one of the things that I got from my dog is a cooling vest.
Yep.
And I have a young yellow lab that's about 5, but I actually rescued her out of the shelter in Victoria, Texas.
No kidding.
She's a racehorse of a dog. I've had people come over to me in the dove field and said, I just wanted to come see, because I was watching, and I've never seen a lab that fast before. She's built like a greyhound. She's a lovable sweetheart of a dog, and just absolutely took to the field. I mean, because I rescued her, I had no idea whether she was going to have any aptitude or not.
Well,
and I've raised 4 from puppies, but this one, Quinn, may be my most inveterate hunter I've ever had. She is relentless out there. And in fact, when I get through shooting, I'm at the car cleaning birds. I look up and she's gone. She's gone back out to somebody in the field that isn't done yet. She doesn't care. She'll retrieve for anybody.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a heck of a story. And I think that there's and present company included. I think when you think about bird dogs, I think a lot of people primarily think about quail dogs and duck dogs, and how you have to send them away and buy them from a special breeder. But that is a real story. First that you could actually gun train, an animal that was she a puppy when you got her?
No, she was about a year and a half or nearly 2 years old.
And that is incredible.
And I have no idea how somebody let this dog get away, because she's the most lovable dog. She's very biddable. It's a great family dog.
Right.
She just, we have a place at Port Connor, which is where I am today, and we go take a 4, 5, 6, 8 block walk, probably 8 or 10 block walk every morning and afternoon, and she's only got 2 speeds, and that's all ahead full and dead stop. And I have an old chocolate lab that is a hunter, is also a rescue dog, but she just plods along behind us and wonders what we're doing. But,
that's great.
But yeah, the rescue dogs, I after rescuing these 2, and I've raised puppies all my life, and I think I'll take a chance on rescue dogs over it again. I mean, I believe rescue dogs know that somebody saved them. I think they have a different temperament.
Sure. No, and I think there's a lot of evidence about that, out there. Well, that is absolutely fascinating. I just never even had thought about that. One other thing, one other thing I was thinking about that you mentioned earlier. You were talking about the shotgun that you shoot. We don't really we talk when we talk about dove hunting and duck hunting, when we typically talk about the different gauges and the shot, the size shells you want to shoot and all that, just for beginning people. But my father shoots a 410 and or a 28 over and under. I prefer a 28. I prefer a 20 gauge over and under. But talk to me in your experience about the difference between the 28 and the 20 gauge, because I think there's a lot of misinformation about that. And I also think that people think the shells are that much more expensive, but I don't think that's the truth. I think they're more expensive, but they're not that much more. Is that accurate?
Well, I shot 20s for years. My dad was a small bore guy. We shot 25 caliber rifles at deer, 250 Savage, 257 Robertson was my favorite. And my dad was a 20 gauge guy, and he had a Charles Daly over there. We grew up on Model 12 Winchesters in the 50s and 60s and pump guns. I bought my first over and under of Browning in 20 gauge and probably 78.
Wow.
Shot it for 20 years, and I wanted to fiddle around with a 28 a little bit. I bought a Browning 20-28 combo gun, and I very quickly got hooked on the 28 and started doing homework on it. And if you're buying standard dove loads, you're buying 7/8 ounce loads. Well, standard 28 is a 3/4 ounce load. You're not giving up that much shot. The 28, because of the bore diameter, the 28 gauge shot charge is more square. In other words, it's about as tall in the shell as it is wide.
Right.
And what the 28 gauge actually, according to everything I've ever studied and read, it throws a shot pattern that doesn't string out as long as a 12 or a 20. And so it's actually a denser pattern at the point of the bird. When you think about how pattern, the 28 gauge also is exceedingly fast. It's a very efficient ballistic coefficient. We use a lot of talk in rifles about ballistic coefficients, and the old 7x57 Mauser is one of the most efficient guns for light recoil and big punch. The 28 is like that. It's very light recoil, but most of the field loads for 28 gauges are 1,250, 1,300 feet a second. They're
right.
Fast.
Very fast.
The 1150 loads for 20s and 12s. And then you talk about, about price of ammo. I'm a believer, whether you're down here fly fishing for redfish, whether you're going on a deer hunt, you're going to take a fishing trip, you're going dove hunting. You've waited all year to go dove hunting.
Right.
And first of all, when was the last time you pulled the trigger on a shotgun? I'm very fortunate. I have a little farm outside Victoria. I have a claybird thrower. I shoot a flat or a flat and a half of shells in the last 4 or 5 weeks before dove season starts. It's like I'm not going to go on a golf vacation and not play golf for 4 months before I go.
Right.
So, the opening day of dove season is big for me, so I'm going to go shoot claybirds and go out to your local gun range, get comfortable with mounting your gun against swinging
Sure.
your gun, get your sight picture down. So I got hooked on the 28. I had this 20-28 Browning combo, and I realized I'm never shooting the 20. So I was going to get a Beretta 28 over and under, and I ended up finding a Beretta 20-28 combo online that nobody was bidding on. So I ended up buying another combo gun and never shot the 20, and I finally sold it, and I went and bought the Beretta 28.
Right.
I just like the way Berettas feel and fit, and great respect for them.
Right.
And not that I have anything against. I've had Browning Synergy 28, which I shot for several years
Yep.
before I got the Beretta.
Right.
And then a year before last, I said, I'm going to have a little more fun sometime when the doves are flying right. And I bought a companion Beretta 410 over and under.
Oh, so cool.
And the 410, my hit percentage changes, measurably. 410s are tough.
They are.
You got to be willing to pick your shots. And I don't shoot the 410 on real windy days. I don't shoot the 410 when the birds are flying really tough.
Right.
Because I don't like losing birds. I don't like crippling birds.
Nope.
I don't like losing birds.
I'm with you.
But the 28, I never noticed. In fact, I think my hit percentage went up with the 28 versus the 20. And I really like them for kids.
Right.
Because, giving a kid a 410, it's like, hey, I'm a very advanced wing shooter. I'm pretty darn good. I'm going to shoot 50% or better on doves, typically with my 28.
Right.
But the 410, I'm going to go to 35 or 40%.
Sure.
But why are you going to give that inexperienced kid a 410? I mean, get him a little 28. There's some really good low-cost over and unders out there.
Yes.
Some of these guys that for a good starter gun for a kid, you cut
Yeah.
the stock off and let them have a chance of hitting something.
Sure.
And then
Sure.
the last thing you talked about was the price of ammo. I reloaded for a while. I enjoyed that, but not as much as I thought I would.
Right.
But I'll go through 2, 3, 4 flats of shells a year shooting
Right.
doves, not counting my clays.
Right.
So it's probably $100 a year more to shoot the 28 than a good field load 20.
Right.
I mean, not your cheap dove loads. I don't think you should shoot cheap dove loads. Look, you're going out and paying this landowner
Yep.
$75, $80, $100 to shoot. You're driving 2 hours, 5 hours.
There you go.
Do it. I mean, why are you trying to save $2 on a box of shells?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
in the overall scheme scheme of things, I mean, give yourself a chance to perform and shoot good ammo.
I agree.
That's my theory.
No, I totally agree. So we, Jimmy and I both went to Texas Tech, and so we had our fill of hunting dove up there. I mean, it was unbelievable. And we would being college kids, right? We had the pump guns, and we would primarily shoot Winchester. What was like $3 a box, something like that. And I'll tell you, it fouled our guns so bad that it was one of these things where we were cleaning them almost after every shoot, and it was insane.
Well, you think about it is quality costs, whether you're buying a golf club, a shotgun, a box of shells, a car, fishing rod, you got to decide how important it is to you to have high grade. And, like I like to shoot, the Beretta over and unders. Those are a couple $1,000, unless you are a good shopper like I tend to be. But, if you're going to go out and you're going to take the time and you're going to take the expense of the travel, the accommodations, the landowner fee, you have a dog you're taking care of, you got an SUV or a pickup you want so you can do these things. What's an extra $50 or $80 a year to shoot really good ammo?
Sure.
And, give yourself a chance. You're out there in the field and, and again, there's no way, Winchester makes the full range ammo. I'm not going to pick on them. Winchester, Remington, Federal, pick one.
Sure.
But how, they make a $9 box of 20 gauge shells and they make this $4 box of 20 gauge shells. Do you really think they're the same?
Right, exactly. Exactly. You're right.
They're cutting every corner they can to fill up, that pyramid at Academy with these, cheap loads. And, to me, it's like, I'm not picking on Academy or Winchester, but I just think that, hey, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
No, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. No, that's a very, very good point. Well, Terry, we appreciate your time tonight. Tell the folks out there how they can get in touch with you to pick up one of these.
Well, the name of our company is Dove Gear. We're going to go try to get some of the independent retailers to carry our product this year. Retails for $89.95.
Excellent.
We're not going to go to the big department stores. It's kind of one of my value systems. I like small independent operators, and we're going to go try to reach out to some of the small independent operators. If you have any listening, have them contact me. The website is dove-gear.com. The product is called the Ultimate Bird Vest. We got some other products that we're developing to hopefully have ready for 2021. And there really aren't any companies that say we are all about dove hunting.
No, they're not.
my nephew in Idaho has worn his vest, chukar hunting and pheasant hunting and all that. It's great for all that.
Oh yeah.
But this vest was built by and for a South Texas dove hunter, which is what I am.
I tell you what, Terry, then that's what makes this. That's why I love talking to you, because that is what's so exciting. You seem to have cured all the issues you get with the tool belt or the vest. So that is very exciting. Do you think you'll have anything anything that we can talk about, like maybe this August before dove season? We'll get you back on the show.
Yeah, we'll be in full selling cycle then, and we've got the vest in stock now. We can fill orders right now. And,
excellent.
So people can beat the rush, and we've got a second generation vest that somewhere may get made, but I'm really pushing myself there. How am I going to make this thing better? Because I pretty much gave it all.
Yeah.
But we've got some other products. I've got a little what I call the field caddy. That's a wheel device you pack all your dove gear in it, your decoys, your mojos, and your water for your dogs, and everything, and go after your hay bale 300 yards away. I've got a lightweight camo thing for my very light colored yellow lab that I'm playing around with.
Excellent.
We got some other things, but it's all about dove hunting. I'm all about dove hunting.
Fantastic.
I hope all your listeners that like the bird shoot will go check us out at dove-gear.com and send me an email if you have any questions. And and what we do, we back every product with a money back guarantee. If you put it on, you wear it in the field, you don't like it, you send it back, we'll refund you money.
Excellent. We love it. Well, folks, this is yet another example of a Texas-born company making a product specifically for Texas dove hunters, for Texans. It is really awesome. So, Terry, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you a lot, Richard. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to catching up again, mid-July to early August.
Excellent.
We'll all be wanting our trigger fingers when we get into that.
I can't wait, my friend. I can't wait. Thank you, Terry. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye now. Well, folks, that was Terry Koehler. He is the owner and operator of Dove Gear, and again, they manufacture the Ultimate Bird Vest. Wow, did any of that sound really familiar? It's like it was. It's like he and I are literally, cut from the same cloth. I know I said it about 15 times, but it's absolutely amazing. Terry is very, very spot on. A lot of these problems that he was talking about, with the traditional dove hunting vests and whatnot, are things that this product has taken care of. So I am I am very excited to try one out myself. The thing that I really like, besides the cell phone holder, is the fact that you can adjust this vest. So one of the things that I just can't stand, and I think it's the ethical hunter in me, is that when I would sit down on the stool, with my bird vest on, it would smash on my dove, and I just hated it. I don't know why. I don't really think it did anything to him, but again, maybe it was kind of an ethical thing. Well, it looks like the Ultimate Bird Vest has taken care of that by virtue of the fact that you can adjust it. So. That is very, very exciting. So anyways, Mr. Koehler, thank you so much again for your time. Folks, again, if you want to look at getting yourself the Ultimate Bird Vest, it's at dove-gear.com. Again, a Texas product made for our Texas dove hunters. Something else I'd like to mention just before we hang up tonight is little do a lot of you all know, but I'm also a physician. Studied medicine for many years, even though that's not true at all. But one of the things that I've noticed with this outbreak of this corona, or whatever the heck, COVID 9/18/9er thing that we got going on here, is that they're talking about quarantining yourself. Schools are being canceled. Work is being canceled. All this kind of stuff. What's the common problem here, folks? Let's see. I'll give you a minute to think about it. It's people, Richard. That's right. Yes, that's exactly right. It's people. People are the reason why we've got this carnivorous virus, or again, whatever the hell it's called. So here is your prescription, okay? If you don't want to get the corona, you need to get away from people. You need to get to your lease. You need to get to your ranch. Folks, the way the Wi-Fi, or not the Wi-Fi, but the internet is this day and age, you can do your job from your ranch. Folks, listen, this is a great opportunity. Don't get the corona. Go shoot some hogs. Fill some feeders. It is the off season. The antlers are starting to grow. The wildflowers are coming up. Don't get the corona. Get out of there. This is the best excuse we've literally ever had. So, jokes aside, everybody be safe. This thing is absolutely bananas. But I hope that tonight, speaking with Terry Koehler, has maybe taken your mind off some of the stress of the market and the craziness out there. So, anyways, that is it for the program tonight. Thank you all very much for downloading this podcast. Please tell your friends, get on the social media stuff, and do all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, please remember to support your local feed store.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you like what we discuss on the show, be sure to sign up to our email list to get even more killer hunting ideas, tips, tricks, and exclusive deals on innovative hunting gear and services delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up over at feedbandit.com or simply by texting the word bandit to 33777. See you on the next one. And remember, support your local feed store.